Hi, everyone. It's Lisa Marie from Edge Agency here in Saskatchewan, Canada. I know a lot of you have been reaching out to me just curious about the industry, what to expect when you're interested in modeling. And I thought this would be a really good opportunity to reach out to one of our international models and talk to her a little bit about her experience, what it's like working as an international model. So let me introduce Melissa. Melissa, thanks so much for coming on board.
Hi,
Nice to see you.
you too, Lisa Marie. Thank you so much for having me on here today.
Absolutely. I think that because of your journey, and obviously we'll dive into a little bit more about that, I think you're a really great person to sort of have people chime into, listen to what the industry is about for you in a different aspect than from an agent standpoint. So
Absolutely.
I think that you'd be really great. So obviously starting off, first and foremost, how are you? Because now it is COVID time. We're still kind of, slowly opening up within the industry and, and how things are going to start. But how are you doing and where are you?
Well, for starters, I'm doing good. I'm in Fort St. John, northern British Columbia. The population here is about 20,000, maximum 20,000 people. It's up in the middle of the north. It's climate change. But I'm doing really good. It's been a life adjustment, definitely, since COVID has happened.
Yeah.
I was in Brazil, and leading up to before coming home, I was in Mexico City. I was there for about 14 days, and I got on the last flight back to my home so I could be safe here. So
Absolutely.
good. It's definitely opened my eyes to how grateful and blessed I've been to do this whole journey, because and it's different. It's a different lifestyle. It's different getting used to, but you get the hang of it, and things are slowly getting back to normal. So hopefully the borders open up and I can start traveling again.
Cross our fingers, they're going to start opening soon. Absolutely. Absolutely. So tell me, and for those that don't know, how long have you been modeling?
I have been modeling 10 years this year.
Oh, time has
And
gone by fast. And happy anniversary.
thank you. Happy anniversary.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I know, but obviously, again, going back and forth for the viewers that don't know and people that are really interested, how did you get involved, and sort of what led you to be interested even in the fashion industry to start?
Well, I actually have family in the modeling industry. My cousin had gone overseas as a model, and she's a couple years older than me. And I just watched her traveling, hearing all her stories, seeing all these magazines and these pictures taken. And it kind of got me interested, because we don't have any fashion industry here
Mm,
in Fort St. John.
right,
And,
small community.
yeah, a little bit different.
Yeah,
I was 17, I moved over to Saskatchewan, and I got introduced to Edge Agency and the modeling industry. And yeah, I've always wanted to travel.
hmm,
That has been the biggest thing I've always wanted to do. And when I got the opportunity to hear that you could travel and model, it was something I thought about, and go into this deeper, but my height was an issue.
yes,
Years ago, my height was a really big
yeah,
issue.
yeah,
Something that, okay, it was just dreaming about it. And I started to do a photo shoot. I did my first photo shoot in Saskatchewan,
yeah,
and the photos I got back were phenomenal.
yeah,
Uh, Sherry, shout out to Sherry.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so I got the photos back, and it was like, whoa, like there's something there. And
Absolutely.
I had done another photo shoot, just fluke, that somebody needed a model last minute, and you had called me and I was available,
Absolutely.
and I got amazing pictures back, and it was like, whoa, this is I liked it. I liked being in front of the camera.
Yeah.
I liked the whole industry, the behind the scenes of it was
Hmm.
really interesting to me. So that's how I got introduced to modeling, being
Right.
in a city, being introduced by Edge. You guys had hosted a model search, discovered model search, and I
Yep.
helped out with that. And it kind
Absolutely.
of eyes about how big this industry really is and how many things there is to offer.
For
And
sure. For sure.
waited it out a little bit, and then I got my chance to travel overseas for my first time. And
Absolutely.
didn't I didn't go overseas to be the model. I actually went overseas to accompany somebody else that was traveling as a model. And the day I arrived to Greece, the agency had called and said, "Oh, come, we want to just meet you."
Yeah.
And I walked in there, they're like, "Well, where's your book?" And I was like, "I don't have a book."
Yeah.
I've literally
You
really
had
never
some pictures, but not much. Yeah.
anything. But they said, "Well, if you want, we can start building you a book here." And it was like completely out of anything that I knew. And I was like, "Why not? I'm here."
Absolutely.
And I started to book jobs. I started to build test shoots and build my book. And I got TV commercials, and everything just led up. And when I came back to Canada, I called you and I sat you down. I was like, "This is something I want to do.
Absolutely.
This is something I want to do full time. What can I do to become an international full-time model?"
And really, honestly, it's been a 10-year journey. And I know that you've been doing this full time. This isn't, a hobby right from the beginning. When we started, you hit the ground running and you haven't stopped really. And you're just taking a break because of COVID, but you haven't stopped. Now, one of the things that I find really interesting, because obviously we represent lots of different, models from Saskatchewan and around the world that have really unique backgrounds before they even started getting into the industry.
Definitely.
So I know in talking to you that really modeling before that, you were really more of a sports person.
I was.
How did you feel, or how do you feel that even benefited being a small community and now working full-time as a model, but really being more sports oriented?
Totally. So I actually was a speed skater. I traveled all of Canada, North America. I was on Team Canada, and I was on North Americans. I was a speed skater for 13 years. And I was on Team BC. I traveled all around with it. And that benefited me so much as a model. Modeling is not just one job. It's not just looking beautiful. They've got sports jobs. You have to be active. You have to be creative. You need to use your body. That's what we do as models, is using our body. And being a speed skater and being so involved with all different kinds of sports, it has opened up so many doors for me in the modeling industry. And it's been wonderful, because something that I took from a child has carried on to this very day.
For sure. Benefited you both sides.
Both sides. And actually, my first job that I ever booked as an international model was for figure skates. And they booked. I knew how to skate.
Perfect. And being Canadian, they probably just assumed you knew how to skate.
Exactly. So honestly, sports, dance, being artistic, those things come into play in the modeling industry like you wouldn't believe.
Absolutely.
I hope that sports has carried on with me in my journey as a model, because it's a passion, and it's booked me jobs, it's booked me great jobs. So
Absolutely.
Happy that I did sports as a kid. The market has definitely changed. When I first started modeling 10 years ago, I was too muscular.
Right.
And that
because of your sport.
Yeah, because of sports. Yeah. Now, which is really amazing, that the market has completely changed, that being fit sells.
Absolutely.
And that's really wonderful. And that most of my jobs is doing yoga, doing sports, so being able to work, being paid to work out as a model, to take pictures of, really amazing. I'm blessed. It's been really awesome.
Now, I know that you've traveled to numerous places, being your agent, but for those that don't know, what are some of the places that you have traveled to?
Well, I've traveled to 22 different countries, not all for modeling, but I just did my time. I've been to 22 different countries and 5 continents. It's been pretty amazing. I've spent a lot of time in Asia, because I'm on the shorter end. We did decide Asia, of course, would be my market. And I've spent my time in China. I've done a lot of Asia, actually. I've pretty much covered all of Asia. I've done South America. I've been to Australia. I've been to Dubai. I have been to Europe. And Asia, definitely, I love China, but it was this past year I went to Brazil, and that was absolutely incredible. It was
newfound love.
a newfound love, and it was really awesome. Like modeling, well, all these different, you go to the same places, but when you go out of your comfort zone and you go to completely different than what you're used to, it just made me fall in love with modeling all over again, and traveling and working with different people, different cultures, different views, different styles, because Asia market is a different market than Europe. It's different than South America.
Absolutely.
It's America. So it was really nice to experience something different.
For sure. Now, of all the places that you've traveled, even for just jobs and locations, living abroad and also just doing the jobs, could you pinpoint one of the best locations that you've worked at, if you had to?
I have worked at, that's a tough one. Honestly, best locations I've worked at would have to be, believe it or not, in China.
Okay.
And it did fly us to a beach, and it was just it was amazing hotel. It was a life, and it was amazing shooting. It was for wedding dresses, so I felt like
a princess.
It was really romantic, and it was awesome. And a place that I've loved to work and travel to would be Taiwan. Taiwan has such a special place in my heart. Brazil also, but something that was really different for me and really surprised me on my travels, and I loved it, was Taiwan. It was definitely a special place in my heart. Yeah.
Awesome, for sure. Now, for the modeling industry, I know how important it is really for, body health and mind. Really are the core things for, I think, any occupation, but especially for modeling, because of the, hard work, lots of early hours, lots of late evenings. So when you travel, I think the biggest thing that a lot of models are concerned about or question is timing, and like, do you have time to work out? How do you make it work? How do you fit your routine into your business, and how do you make that work for your career ongoing?
Well, it's depending on the country, because each market is totally different. I use China as an example because I've spent most of my time as a model there. So when you're in China, it's long days. It's 7 days, it's Monday to Monday. It's either if you're not working, you're on auditions, and you're all day in a casting van. And it is hard. It's not, you really have to put the dedication into it if this is something that makes you feel good, because they are long days and you don't have as much time. So it's really important that you do eat well, you give your body what it does need. Somewhere like Brazil or Europe, where you have more time on your hands, easier to fit those things in. But I would say the most challenging place to find your little ozone, your little happy place would be China. It's very difficult. I'm not going to say it's easy, because it's not, but if you want it to do it bad enough, you make the time.
So you would just do it in your apartment, like if you don't have time to go to the gym?
I've gone to the gyms, I've done yoga classes, I've gone to contemporary dance classes.
Oh, wonderful. Models
and people that are interested in different things. And I'm a person that loves to learn something new. So for me, it was like, if you're going to go to a dance class, I'm going to come and join, because I've never tried it before. So you get to learn all these different things. I know models that have gone out to the middle of the mountains to learn Kung Fu, that they become an interest. Yoga came into my life, and all these fitness things, and it's been wonderful. It is challenging, but when you're surrounded in that kind of group area, and again, like I'm saying, fitness is what sells now. So people want to be fit. So there's a group of people, which is really nice, that you can go, hey, you want to go to the gym? You want to go for a run? You want to go hiking? People are wanting to do those things. So you make it work at that location.
Oh, that's so great. That's so great. Now, I know, and obviously you know, that the industry has changed. But when you first started, do you think now it's like easier? Do you think it's more difficult? Obviously, across the whole, modeling is a competitive industry, no matter what. But how do you think it's changed for the 10 years that you've been in business?
Well, when I first started, there was no social media. There was no social media. And you had a tiny little cell phone, and there was no texting, no nothing. It was just a phone call. I think so. When I started, again, it was, you had to be 6 foot, super skinny, and that's what they want everywhere.
Yeah.
And when I started, I was the shortest of the bunch, and it was your height is an issue. You're too muscular. You need to be taller. You need to be this. And in that sense, now moving forward 10 years from now, that has changed a lot. And it's not, I want to say easier, but there's a different type of beautiful, which I love.
Absolutely. Yes. And as an agent, I see that because there's more opportunities for models in general. Huge multicultural, background now that they're looking for. It's more diverse than what it was when I modeled or now in your career. So absolutely it has changed immensely.
It is
for the good, for sure.
But where now social media has come into
yes.
Where I've noticed is I can say I'm an international working model. Here is my modeling book of my work.
Right.
Now where I'm noticing agencies are going, well, how many followers do you have on Instagram?
Right. Yeah.
That's where it has changed.
It's
not taken a different turn in that sense where everybody is models now.
Right.
And there's influencers. There's people that, you have all these, the competition is harder now, but there's more job opportunity because they're looking for something different, right? I would say easier and it's harder.
For sure.
It's just a different dynamic. They don't care so much about what your magazine photos are, your actual work. They want to know the followers and the numbers. And I think that's where it's hard. It's definitely harder now.
Absolutely, for sure. And I think, the fact that, like you said, that diversity that's involved in there does open doors for many, but you're right, it makes it also difficult. But there are still those seasons. Like I know definitely for models in general, if any advice that you can sort of, give to somebody that is interested in the industry and they're wondering not only just where to start, but if they haven't sort of had, the good start, and they're not always wanted, like at the beginning for you, you're not tall enough, like what advice can you give to somebody that's just so passionate about it and that does have that it factor, but perhaps it's just not their timing. And sometimes that's what happens in the industry as well.
You could go to one country and make a ton of money, and you could go 3 months later and not make a penny. It happens. And I can say it's happened to me. It's happened to much every model I know. It's happened to. One thing that's really important is to have a really good mother agency. I think that's number one, and that's where you have been wonderful, Lisa. You are hardworking, and it is really important that you have a good agency, someone that's going to back you up, someone that wants your interest, someone that as soon as you, like you told me, once you give me the green light to go, I'm going, and we're going to go. And we haven't stopped. I have been traveling. You've placed me with all the top agencies because it's important you have someone that's going to fight for you, someone that's going to be there for you, because you are our agent. It's your job to do your job on your side, and it's our job as model. We have to work as a team. And it's so important. You can be with a big agency, but then there's so many models and you can get lost in the bunch because again, the competition's high.
Right.
Really important. You've got a good mother agency, someone that's going to fight for you, someone that understands you, someone that wants your well-being, because it's money for you, money for me.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. Yeah.
And it's really important to have a really good agent and personality. In this industry, you need to have good personality.
Absolutely.
You are going to get so many more no's than you are yeses. And that's the reality.
Yeah.
And you have that's going to be with you, fight for you, and your personality needs to shine through that. And it's a game to play. 100%.
Sure. Now, do you think, because of all the places you traveled, and I think I know the importance, but obviously now you working in the industry, that also trying to navigate and understand the language, taking that as something that's important when you are living in Brazil or in Mexico or China, to try to sort of branch out of the English language and learn more, for sure. Is that an advantage?
Well, it's definitely, I have to say, we're lucky being Canadian that English is our first language, 100%. I've lived with pretty much 60-70% of models don't speak English.
Right.
They're not taught it.
Right.
Or again, like we all think, I'm never going to have to use another language, and then you end up need it.
Yeah.
But for me, languages have always been a passion of mine. I love to talk. So communicating was really important for me. And it's given me so many more jobs because I've been able to communicate.
Right.
I went overseas to China. I worked in another city for 5 days and I couldn't communicate with them. It was, I'm hungry, time out. I need to drink. And they're not understanding, playing a game of charades. And I just went, you know, I need to learn some words so I can just get around. And that took me to so many more jobs.
Right.
People just work with me. I walk into a casting. I may not be right for that job, but they'll remember me for future because one, personality, and two, you're making an effort and people want to work with people that have drive.
Right.
And they're never forgotten. So that's been something every country I've ever been to, I always try to learn, hello, thank you, where is this?
Basics. Yeah.
I mean, it's getting better. I speak good Mandarin, some Portuguese, some Spanish, and it's been really beneficial for me because when you travel, communicate.
Yes.
And it's beautiful when you can start finding that communication with people. It's I wouldn't say it's important, but if you try, it's great for your knowledge and it's going to book you jobs. It's a guarantee. You're going to walk in there and going to go, whoa, that girl speaks a bit of Chinese. That's amazing. Let's work with her.
Right. And that's great. And you have done some amazing jobs. Yes. Now, you know, I hate to ask, but what are some of the either rewarding jobs or some of the best jobs you feel that you've had through your 10 years career already?
My best job was definitely my 4 Sephora campaigns. Honestly, and you know what the best part of it? I didn't know I was shooting the actual big campaign and how big it was going to be until it came out. And that was just like...
in the stores everywhere.
And I shot it in China. Clients were from Paris. Photographer was from New York. I'd only been traveling 2 years. Like this was just... And they kept booking me. They were my client. And I was the face of every single Sephora store in China and throughout Asia. And it was just like... I did it.
Yeah.
My most rewarding job that I've ever done was when I got to shoot the campaign for Hilberg and Berk because it was Canadian. I love her stuff. I love Rachel. And it was because I don't work in Canada.
Right.
And when I come home, I got lucky that they were looking for a model and booked me twice. And that was really rewarding to be seen in my own country when my friends and family are traveling and, hey, that's you. That was a really rewarding, feel-good
opportunity.
And also I did a cover of a magazine with my cousin in the Philippines. And I think that was the most special photo shoot I've ever had in my life. It was the first time we've ever shot together. She's also former Edge Agency model. Yeah. And I went to Philippines.
And you didn't know you guys are going to be shooting together.
No, we hadn't. Well, we actually booked another job prior to shooting, and then at the job we found out we were going to be shooting the cover of a magazine together, and we had not even shot together in our whole lives, so we didn't know how it was going to turn out. And every model dreams, if you're in the industry, you want a magazine cover.
Of course, yeah. And
that was my first magazine cover. It was one of many of hers, but it was my first one, and to be able to share that experience with my cousin, my first cousin,
for sure.
Was incredible, and we looked amazing. So it was a win.
A win-win all the way around. Absolutely. Yeah. So now, obviously, you're home just on a short time until obviously COVID starts ending, and we can have those borders open. And I know you'll be off again. Yes. But I know you're also dabbling and sort of branching off, not just in modeling. So what are you kind of doing now? Acting or
agent again, Lisa. I admire you so much, and this is why it's really important to have a good agent. Is you keep looking for the next thing and wanting your models, your actors to grow, and you approached me and asking me if I would like to dip my toes into the acting scene, and that's what I've been doing lately. So I dip my toes into it. I've got some auditions, which is really wonderful. And you being a great agent, looking always, how can we build you? How can we still get an income? How can we still keep growing industry? And it's wonderful.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
It's benefiting me.
So well, I think definitely that diversity, right? Going back to not just obviously people, but in a career, seeing beside it just being one-sided and just modeling, how can a person branch out to be more productive and have more of an advantage in the industry? Definitely. For sure. Yeah.
So many wonderful, amazing people that I've met working for or working with, that amazing makeup artists, photographers, directors, camera people. Like, there's so many things in this industry that thing is just one thing, and there's so many people behind the scenes, and those doors open for you. So for me, I've always loved being in front of the camera, and I want to continue to still do that. So you've given me this opportunity to try something new, and it's challenging. It's not easy. It's definitely challenging me. I feel like I've mastered the whole modeling thing, and this is a new challenge for me, and I love it. It's been wonderful, especially during COVID.
For sure.
It's not from my life that I'm so used to every day something different, traveling all over the world, to coming home and being stuck. Like, I know everybody else, but it's been a huge culture shock and what's going on with my life.
Yeah, and for sure.
That's something else that I'm dipping my toes into, and I really enjoyed it. It's a nice ride.
That's great. That's awesome. Yeah. Well, you know, I really appreciate this time. It's been a pleasure just to catch up. I think it really gives people the idea of really how a career can start, where it can take, how long a person can have a career in the industry, which is also something that people question all the time.
If you keep and this goes back all the way, you look good, you feel good. This industry is not, there is only a certain amount of time for it, but there's so many things you can do with it. If you look good, feel good, it can still take you a long time. You can still industry for a really long time, and I'm 10 years going.
There you go.
Waiting for another 10 years.
Perfect. Well, Melissa, thank you so much for your time. It was a real pleasure to chat with you today. Thank you so much. Obviously, we wish you all the best, and you know, we'll keep going. Thank you so much, hon. Have yourself a great day.
Thanks.
Bye.